Got it. All right. Well, who's in position 1 this week? Is that you, Phil?
That's me. Do you want to give me permission to share and I'll...
Oh, yep. Let me do that. Mm. Make co-host. There we go. There you go.
Okay, so there's the opening attunement. If you want to just get settled and close your eyes or whatever's most comfortable for you.
Take a moment to get settled, feeling yourself fully present in every aspect of your being. Gently focusing on your breathing. Breathing deeply into your belly, becoming aware of the collective breath as you all breathe together. One breath, one being. Feeling into the magnificence of this delta, this unique team of adventurers into the higher realms of consciousness. Sensing the beautiful formation of the delta, each of you flying pure and clear in your intention, in your commitment, in each of the positions you have been holding for this past week. Feeling the depth of your connection with your dance partner, with the whole of the delta, as the dance evolves, each of you holding the highest frequency, the highest vision for the future of human consciousness. Deeply resonating with the frequency of each of the 7 cities. Noticing what is happening within your auric field, within the collective field. Becoming fully aware of the harmonizing of each of your auras, as well as the collective aura. Take a few moments to reflect deeply on this past week. The moments of awareness, maybe the moments of challenge, and most profound insights. Sudden epiphanies, or a gradual raising of consciousness. Notice what stands out as having the highest frequency, the highest vibration that you can bring to this meeting, to share with the collective, with your dance partners, to benefit the whole delta. Then open yourself to listen and to share, daring to be vulnerable, to be honest, and wide open in service of the whole. Thank you. Take a moment to be
Sorry, I just went straight away to the closing attunement. So I guess, Brenton, I think you're moving into position 7. So if you would like to share last, like we agreed last week, is that right? Are you moving to position 7? So you're my partner this coming week, and yeah, if you wanted to share last, so that you kind of step into that position 1. Yeah, Dr. Fred, I wondered if you wanted to share your meeting with Wolfie first, and we'll kind of go from there.
Well, I can do that because I just received in the last 5 seconds what will be likely the last contact with Wolfie. So Wolfie agreed to speak with me at the while the meeting was going on last week, and to meet with me. And we had a really, I thought, really nice meeting, talking about Gene Keys 27 and 6, our 2 Gene Keys respectively, talking about like ways to make it through the week, and what his a little bit about what his issues are, what his struggle is, and in Venice, and the trip he's taken from Detroit to Venice and all that. And I felt like we really bonded pretty well. And we agreed to, that he would read Gene Key 6, and then we would just check in periodically during the week, maybe just a couple minutes, texting or whatever. And the next day, he did not follow through at all. But at nighttime, he told me he was working, and that we would do it again on Wednesday. And then he didn't show up Wednesday, and he proceeded not to show up. How do I say it? Like, to show up less and less each day until he wasn't responding at all. I reached out to him kindly and gently, taking into consideration Gene Keys. I'm kind of sad about the whole thing, actually, but Gene Key 6, really checking myself at the door between selfishness and selflessness. What's my intention? What do I really, who am I here for? Me, him, us. And he didn't show up, and yesterday I was like, man, can we just talk? If we talk, can I just hear where you're at? Say it ain't so, all that, kind of nudging a little. And then this morning, just now, so we didn't have any contact really in the last 3 days, no real exchanges, maybe 4 days. And just now I decided that I would text him, and I tell you how this went. I said, Gerald is not here, and if you don't show up, we might have to close the entire Delta. Can you find it within you to show up, Brother Wolfie? And he wrote, just not good for me at this time. Pressuring me isn't making me feel positive about it. Yeah. It's like the group is more important than what I'm telling you I need. I don't need to be in this group. It's not for me. I'm going to heal on my own. Thank you. I appreciate ya. That's it. That's where we're at. That happened like really, literally 3 minutes ago. And as I told Brenton earlier this week, I am Wolfie, I didn't say that to Brenton, but I do feel it. I in the spiral of life, I know how it is to I mean, they're so telling. It seems like the group is more important than what I'm telling you. It's like, well, actually, yeah, that is what I'm saying. And on the one hand, I feel sad, like somehow I didn't succeed in lassoing Wolfie, that's a selfish thing. And on the other hand, I love Wolfie and Gerald and you, and can I just push out my, my blame, my shame, my guilt for having a fish on the hook and then losing it, like that versus can I just get that the man is just being a human? Can I listen from that perspective? That's where I'm at.
Thanks for that. Thanks for trying as well succeeding to make a connection with him over this last week and trying to sort of, pull him back into the group. And I guess what came up for me when we were speaking was this just places where I've been in a similar position, in some sort of similar position, and feeling a pressure to be different to what's sort of coming up for me, and struggling with that pressure at times. And I don't know if the question that is on the table again of whether we continue with the group or not. For me, I'm kind of straight in with this. Like there was no doubt in my mind that we'd be sort of carrying on. It didn't, even when I sort of saw 5 minutes ago or whenever that there'd only be 5 of us, because I just been feeling the delta still working, and those 2 empty spaces now. I don't know. So I don't know if that question is coming up for you guys again, but for me, I'm still sort of up for continuing, even if there are 2 empty spaces, because I just this last week I've been feeling the real power of this working in my world, my life. But the floor is open. Say whatever you feel.
What's the update with Gerald? He's just not showing today, or he's out as well, or
I sent him a message and called 3 times. He's not responding, so he's either indisposed or unavailable.
Who was his dance partner?
I was.
Did you get contact with him?
Yeah, we messaged on Facebook a few times. Pretty much like 2 or 3 times, that's pretty much it. And then just waited for the weekend and for him to show up for today.
Did you guys have a call or speak other than messaging?
Just messages.
Okay. Well, it hadn't really dawned until you were sort of speaking, Phil. I'm looking at a line 1 in my relationships, and it's like I'm either the anchor or the loner, and the loner is closing his heart and pushing everybody away. Not that I want to do that. That's, I'm certainly trying to keep I am keeping my heart open. I sent a text message to Wolfie just inquiring if he was okay, and got no response. I hadn't talked with Gerald at all this week, so I don't quite know what I'm feeling. It's overwhelming without Wolfie, but now without 2 people, I'm like feeling some frustration and some sadness. I'll continue on with my check-in, or do we want to just address this and then check in? What's everybody feeling?
I'm easy with either.
Well, my check-in for the week in
Wait
about,
1 second. Sorry, Tom. There's just too much. There's just too much for me to just step into check-in.
okay,
A second man missing. I don't even think Delta has a, I don't, when I look at the rules, I know you can miss one. Not even sure you can miss, I don't even think they have a protocol for missing two. And I am, part of me is like ready to scream. And another part of me wants to cry. Another part of me just wants to keep walking one step at a time. It's all good. And here's the thing that's here for me. And this is probably different than you guys, but what's here for me is if we really are truly the first Delta of all men, and we tend to float in late and don't quite do what we're supposed to, and two guys are out by the fourth. It's like, man, we had an opportunity here to be such a killer group, and then it's like we still have that opportunity. There's like a man thing here for me, like, God damn it. And I don't think it is really a man thing, by the way. It's just that's what's landing for me. And part of me just wants to it's like, Gerald, Wolfie, like, what the fuck? Yeah. Anyways, that's where I'm at. And there's some hold on. Yeah, there's some nerve endings, there's some part of me is like sneering, like, damn, man. And then another part of me just, again, this like loving men for being the clumsy oxes that we can be. That's where I'm at. I appreciate you all listening to that. I'm just there.
Gerald's last message to me when I contact him, he says, I texted him on his phone. He didn't get it. So that's why I sent him a messenger. He got that one. And he said, like, he was bad. He didn't get the text message. He said, he swore he'd text me back. He said, my journey is going well. I'm taking what the universe gives, trusting in the process. I'm grounded and at peace. And then asked how I'm doing. And that was pretty much it. So it seems like from that dialogue, his response that he was still in it. He wasn't trying to avoid or anything like that. So that was my take of it. And I didn't respond back to him till Saturday. And then just figured out we'd just wait till Monday to correspond. As in missing two people in the group, I feel like with Fred as well, I could do it with one, something that we could hold and chip in, but it's like having a table of 5 legs, and now we're down to 4 legs, but the stability is getting a little bit weaker. Like I could do it with one, because we could all make that extra little space, but losing more, it just gets harder and harder. So I feel that too. But like losing Wolfie, I was going to take it as a challenge, as just like doing ayahuasca. I've experienced its own experience, and losing one member would be okay. Like it's just a little sacrifice that we could all uphold. But I don't feel that we're losing Gerald. I think that he's just didn't respond back, because he was late to respond back to my text messages and my messages. So I'm good with losing just Wolfie and holding a space for him and helping him heal in the astral space. But losing 2, I'm feeling very indifferent about that.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I feel quite, yeah, I don't know. I feel quite neutral. I feel, which I think is just me checking out. I think it's my oh, fuck it, I'll just go away then. I think that's probably the first energy. And also there's a little bit of like, no, fuck it, come on, I want this to work. Yeah, I really want to come here and share and listen to everybody and support everyone as we committed to. So I'm not sure, has Gerald gone? I don't want to make a choice on Gerald. It does seem that Wolfie's definitely out. I wonder what is happening to Gerald, whether something else is happening in his life that has meant he hasn't made this call, but I don't want to jump to a conclusion that he's out yet, and yet he's not here, which is obviously part of the commitment that we all said at the start. Given the thing I'm exploring for the whole Delta is commitment and half-heartedness. This is I can feel that in my heart for myself, like, fuck it hell. Yeah, come on, man. This is what we committed to. So I've got lots of questions around what is commitment, and really what is that for a group commitment, and how do we do that? If this is the future of humanity, to be committing to each other, to support each other in different ways, then yeah, I feel quite upset now. Actually, as I say that, I feel sad. But I also don't want to say goodbye to it. I'm really looking forward to connecting with Phil next week, and was looking at the future stuff. I was like, yeah, come on, this is that. I'm heading to 7. I've had enough of position 5 this week. It's not been great, so I want to get out. Quite frankly, so I'm looking forward to the final meditation, and yeah, I want to honor everyone's needs and energies here around what, you know, it has to be a collective choice to commit, and what are we committing to, and what does that really mean? And yeah, the same questions from last time. So I will pause there. And yeah, I also want to thank you, Fred, for making the effort, and yeah, thank you, Fred.
Yeah, thanks for all of that. I've been so shaken up this week by my experiences of position 1, and it's been like a storm raging around me. So I'm really not even fazed by there being only 5 of us sort of here. Like, all of the experiences from this last week, especially from these last 2 days, sort of still very much here in my body, and that's pulling my attention, and it's not been comfortable. There's been sort of stuff kind of floating around from 4:30 this morning with me and my partner, and yeah, I'm tired. I have had a lack of sleep these last 3 nights, and there's a similar sort of excitement to what you expressed, Brenton, about, like, yeah, next week, you know, I'm moving into a different position, and I have the 29th Gene Key in my life's work. I also share that line 1 with you, Tom, the loner and the anchor thing. And to be honest, I've been loving this, you know. It didn't matter to me the numbers so much. I've been loving these kinds of group meetings, because it's pulling me out of that loner sort of shadow thing. So even just being able to listen to, you know, what's bubbling up in people's bodies and souls, like just in these last sort of 10 minutes, like, is I feel is also really good for me. It's also really good for us as a group of men. So I do not yet have a pull either way of about this, like restarting the Delta with a proper group of 7, or continuing. Like it's I'd be up for continuing. I'd also be up if everyone chose that to sort of find 7 really committed individuals. So yeah, I'm still kind of open in that area. But as I say, like, yeah, the Delta has been working its magic on me in so many different ways, and I can't ignore that, even if we have had a position empty. So yeah.
Well,
I think,
Well,
go ahead.
sorry, Tom, I was just going to say, I think maybe if you'd like to kind of hold that idea of the hold the decision in you as we kind of share about our week and sort of see if something becomes clear to you all as at the end of our shares. Unless you already have an idea in mind. How does that sound?
I agree with that. You know, I'm a 5-1, a fixer, a solutionist, and it's very much a masculine sort of male, you know, okay, it's broke, fix it. And not something I really considered in the whole of why there's never been 7 men to do this successfully. One, maybe it does need the balance of the feminine energy, or maybe there was something about the masculineness of 7 men taking this journey together that is maybe the problem as well as the solution. You know, can we work? My week is harmonious, harmony in the higher mind. And I can't even count the number of times I had to stop and pause and go, okay, you know, we're not going this way in my head. Let's stay here in the center, whether I have to take 5 breaths, 10 breaths, or 15 minutes until I can get back to here and hold what you guys needed from me to hold this week. And being a 5-1, it's a very intellectual beingness of me, you know. And I've failed, not that this is my failure, but I don't even want to go there. The mind is not going there. This is not a failure. You know, it is an attempt at something. And we can attempt it again. The whole piece this week, and I'm kind of getting blurred between different groups and the beginning of the Venus and focusing on my purpose in relationships. It's like there were a couple of days this week with passengers that were, most people are silent or on their phone, they'll say hello. And that's the extent of the connection, you know. This week, one day I had like almost everybody like engaging with me, having this. I had this one synergistic conversation with a guy who owns a truck, you know, and he's like, you know, the whole of way trucking works and the way the world is working is not working. This, you know, and what he's doing, this, he's talking about the synergistic, harmonious way he's working with his people. And I'm like, this guy totally gets it. And he has nothing to do with anything with the Gene Keys. And it's like, I'm seeing spots of this in other business owners or entrepreneurs, and even myself and my partner, CJ. You know, I can see the light, but it's a dim light. If that makes sense. I don't know what to do about this, you know. Can we as men fix it, and make it work, even though it's broken? I don't know. Or do we try and restart it and do it again? So that's kind of where my position is. And thank you, Brenton, for, you know, that was a good connection. We connected this week. Tried to be a little bit of help with where he was going through, and I felt like a little pretty easy. It wasn't difficult this week. So that's me.
I know I'm sharing last, but are we in the sharing now? And I'm going to revisit whether we're continuing later. I'm just wanting to, so my mind's got a bit confused on process.
That was the invitation, yeah, to
Okay, cool.
just share the week and see if some clarity came through about
Okay.
what to do.
Well, you know, the impact of being absent. You know, I have a fantasy that when I don't show up at something, or, you know, I just decide, nah, that, you know, that the gates close behind me and the circle just gets smaller and everything goes fine. But I'm learning as we deal with these two men, that that's not the case at all. That my absence, just like their absence is, creates such a disruption that the focal point is on me or him or them being gone. And it's really a great thing to learn, you know, that I might often have left people in the position I'm in, looking at Gerald and Wilfie now. That the confusion or the like over, like the, you know, it's like, gosh, just shake it. I want to just shake it and move on. And I'd love to just make the circle go smaller to 5 and then just rock on. But it's really not how it's going for me. And I have to say that up until this minute, I hadn't felt like we were missing anyone. Now I feel like we might be missing 2. But I really felt pretty, you know, I had contact with my dance partner Wolfie this week, and it was like, seemed like it was appropriate contact, even though I was pretty unsure whether he would be here today. It activated and generated who I was in my, you know, in my position, and seemed to be rather appropriate for, you know, selfish going to selfless. And, you know, my sister and I had a conversation yesterday that was exquisite. And that's the first conversation we've had, and, you know, at this level, in, I don't know, multiple years, 4 or 5 years, that I attribute to the work we did this last week. And, you know, and, diplomatically managing sort of a rekindling of my little sister's relationship with me is that I didn't see that coming ever, literally never. So it's kind of awesome that we were able to embrace each other yesterday. And that, you know, that's a big takeaway. That's a big takeaway. This idea of, oh, what were we thinking? We put 7 men together and we expected the shit to work. That is just so disturbing to me. Like, yes, that's exactly what we expected. Oh, 7 men can't do it. Oh, man. That's just disturbing to me. Yes, we can. And I think I go to position 5 this week if we continue. But I think for the first time, my vote is if 2 men are missing, then we got to look at what happened to make those 2 men think that it was okay to stop. And I'm into restarting. I'm actually voting for a restart. If 2 men are missing, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. Yeah, I'm not, that doesn't mean I don't get, I'm going to do some Delta somewhere and maybe with all 4 of you and maybe not. But I'm not willing to limp along with like, square wheels or something just to get this done. The premium nature of Delta, I've had 3 exquisite weeks for sure. Love Delta. And again, like, what the fuck? Are you serious? You just drop out and you don't even say anything? It's so man to do that. Women too, I suppose. But it's just like, oh, Gerald. Oh, maybe we should be worried about Gerald. That's another thing. Or angry or sad or offended. Fuck, we have no idea. And I really get that when I'm out of communication, it's not only just plausible, it's likely that I leave people, that I have left people with the level of, sort of chaos that is going on in my head when dealing with this relative absence of our 2 brothers. I have 2 brothers in real life. They're both older than me. I think I've mentioned them before. I don't talk to either of them anymore. And it's good. It's a good situation, actually. I've grown a lot when I separated myself from the 2 of them. And there's more to be said about that. There's a lot of work and a lot of conversations that have gone into that. So, but I'm of the take now, like, yeah, I want to do Delta, but I don't want to do Delta with a crippled group that's about, again, even being late to meetings or like treating meetings as optional, or these are things that I do. Okay. This isn't like blaming you or them for being late or absent. It's getting how late and absent I've been my whole freaking life. And really having compassion for both of them and me and you. It's like, can 7 men do a Delta? Fuck yes, absolutely. Of course. Fuck yes. Of course. But it's absurd to think we can. That's a what? Are you serious? Of course we can. But I think it's time to really look at where in the leak of the system did we make it okay not to come to meetings or not, or to be, late, or to be non-communicative, or all these things that really aren't part of the spirit of Delta. Where did we do that? And what can we do if we restart, or if Gerald and maybe even Wolfie come back? I mean, it's possible. What can we do to shore this up? What can we do to learn from this and grow with it? That's what I'll be doing anyways. I'll be learning and growing, even if today's our farewell meeting. So. I'm in the Venus, the Venus group And my wife and I are in that. I'm excited about that. And I have so many videos to watch today and so much shit to do today. And I'm missing like my favorite men's group from 9 to 10 in the morning on Monday. Well, my second favorite men's group now. And I at 9:30, I show up a half hour late for that thing. The last few weeks. And like, can we sit down at the boardroom? Can we sit down at the conference table and figure out, okay, what happened to have it be that the only commitment you really have in Delta is show up at your meeting? And what really happened to have this be so loose on the edges? And to write it off is because we're all like XY. Fuck that. I'm not going with that. I am not going with that. Yeah, that's it for now.
I was in position 2. A partner was with Gerald. Well, I was the emotional astral plane, gene key 22. And it's shadows of dishonor and looking into boundaries. Just trying to touch with my emotional self. And I do see that I am pretty much empathic, especially dealing with my personal issues. I take a lot of things to heart. So one of the things they said about the emotions is about taking gratitude. So I've been making an honest effort to look on the good side versus the bad. So from working in retail and from somebody's clothing aspect to their personality, to their kindness, I would make it vocal and then say, thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your patience. I love that shirt that you're wearing. Things that I think is pleasing to me, I make it vocal. And just to get in touch with more of my positive aspect of like love. I sent to the group on Messenger, but one of my queer friends, he was reading his book called Reality Works, Let It Happen. And just scrolling through his Instagram and just wondering. And I listened to it and just the immediate connection, and I'll read it to what he said. The chapter was, when we love, it isn't always about us. And it's really saying to me, and it said, when we love, most of us think our love is about statements of object or affection, the one we love. The truth is love is always about us, never about anyone else. That does not mean that others not attract us, they do, but they are not the source of love. Rather, they serve as a catalyst by allowing us to touch our vulnerability so that we may love. So looking that as a guide, I refer to myself to the person I have a crush on, my relationship with my parents. And I was like, am I really being vulnerable? Am I really truly loving? Am I truly being me? And my core belief is love. All major religions believe in love. So I was able just to hone down and figure out, like, do I let that other person have that power? Like with my older sister, do they have that power to disconnect me? But at the same time, it's like, how much time and effort and energy am I going to waste? So I'm like, I'm still battling that. And I was hoping that the Delta group would kind of help me spiritually deal with these kind of issues, because the holidays were coming up. So it would be like a step-by-step. As I said before, I believe we could do with one without. Ideally, having all 7 would be perfect because it's my first time. I don't know if Wolf or Gerald has any more insight or has been into any gene key. I don't know. No. Okay. So I wonder if like finding other men who actually are involved in it and very interested in it would be a little bit more solidifying. I do apologize about being late, but I just want to grab my coffee and sit down and get settled, but the connection was a little bit off. but having the responsibility, like I text Tom as soon as 5 minutes before 11, saying I'm running late. To me, that's a sense of responsibility. It's just saying like any kind of business meeting, you always let know what's going on because it just shows how responsible you are. So that being said, for Gerald, for not taking any initiative, saying I can't show up, or if it's work or whatever it could be, or if he's dropping out, it is his responsibility to vocalize. We're not telepathic. Communication it goes both ways. So he has to take responsibility on that aspect. Yes, I could do without Wolf. I would prefer to do 7. I could do without 6, but 5, I'm very would have a little bit difficult time because I still want that first time to be a little bit up there. I don't mind a challenge because life is always about a challenge, but a harder challenge, like being bored without a leg and a heart and a head, that's going to be a very strong challenge. With that being said, that's how I swing. Hopefully Gerald should be in. If not, then I'm willing to also close up and find another 2 who actually are more into Gene Key that would more be solidifying their commitment. Thank you.
Thanks for that. And that was, yeah, beautifully said and really, really well balanced. And this whole thing seems to be about love. Like, I can't look at any particular challenge and see that it's not. And yeah, this week I've been in position 1, so I've been on that pinnacle of the pyramid or the triangle, and purity of purpose, this Gene Key 12, and the vanity, and noticing a real learning in what the true sort of meaning of vanity. And a lot of it seems to be about the fear that someone else can sort of take away freedom. And vanity simply being this kind of individuality, and leads to these desires to sort of be better than another person. And yeah, I've just sort of been seeing this lesson in so many different places this week, and where I really lack discrimination. And discrimination is often not a word that's used in a good way, but in these as a gift, like in the Gene Keys, I can sort of see like where it's a beautiful gift, and I've kind of lacked it for fear of not being part of the whole, not being connected. And that's been a real lesson with my partner. We had a row a couple of nights ago, and it was a really tough row, and really got me thinking a lot about myself, my sort of view of myself, and actually got me thinking of the opposite of vanity, which was the sort of the lack of love I have for myself. And then it's just in these last sort of 24 hours, there's been a sort of switch around in terms of like, you know, how I sort of see myself, like what are the parts that I do actually love. I've been very focused for much of my life on the darkness of the world, or the darkness of life, and what's wrong with me. And my partner sort of often points that out, that she feels she wants the best for me, so she doesn't want me to be thinking about what's wrong with me all the time. And I can see how impactful that is on the people around me, this sort of belief in wrongness. And it links with my 5th line, guilt, in my core wound, which I've just stepped into at the end of another Venus sequence that I've been doing at the same time as I step into this life purpose of the bigger deep dive of the Venus. So I have these 3 different kind of Gene Keys all pulling at me and asking me to sort of see these different sort of aspects of me in life, in this world. And it's been really confusing, and it's felt like this kind of tornado of shit flying around me, and I haven't been able to sort of see clearly, like, where the fuck am I in this tornado? Like, where the hell do all these pieces fit together? And then it felt like in just these last 4 hours since 4:30 this morning, when me and my partner kind of woke, a clearer seeing of these pieces just sort of fell into place as the tornado kind of died down a bit. And maybe some of that was helped, like I sort of went off and borrowed a car yesterday and went off to get into nature a bit. I found a hilltop to sort of sit, or found an observatory, in fact, that wasn't being used at the time, but it was sort of on a mountaintop, so I could sort of feel good on mountains. I feel like there's a clear horizon, a broad horizon, and it just helps things to sort of settle. It helps all of the sediment that's been stirred up in the lake of my being to just kind of let it kind of sink to the bottom again. And then there's some clarity in the water, and as that happens, like that also led to a lot of a release of tears, a lot this morning, a lot last night, and I do this kind of a first ceremony every morning, and I sort of take out some water and I bless this water and say a prayer. I call in like all of the guides and ancestors and ancient ones of the 4 directions above and below, and I read this kind of poem, and then I make a prayer. And my prayer this morning was that I would see the clarity of I would see clearly the purity of my heart, of like who I truly am. And it included like the purity of everyone else's heart. It's like anyway, I asked for this clear seeing of the purity of my heart, and that would lead to all of the different gene keys in my profile. Like it would lead to the commitment and devotion of that 29th in my life's work. May that purity kind of also bring the lightness of being and the rapture that's in my 30th in my evolution. May it be a part of the presence and self-assurance of my radiance. May it bring the strength and majesty in my life purpose. And it just kind of, it clearly fitted into every single one of my gene keys along all of the different pathways. Like with that purity of heart, like I have all of those gifts. Like if I can truly know that purity of heart, that's my purpose itself. Like it doesn't need to be a doing, it's just who I am. So if I can clearly see who I am, who I truly came to be here as a soul, then all of the other gifts and cities just sort of slotted into that, like they're clearly sort of seen. And that felt like a prayer of love. That felt like it sort of sank into my bones a little bit. And there's a lot that happened this week, and it's hard to sort of put it all together. And I don't want to go into long sort of stories, but that was the essence, just sort of the culmination of that kind of prayer this morning. And I loved that because it felt like a step towards loving myself and a step towards the purity of this gene key 12, like the realization that like if I love myself, then I do love everyone else. And if I love all my shadows, then I do love the shadows of others, you know, even if they are turning up late or not showing up or whatever. Kind of, I don't know the stories of Gerald and Wolfie. I don't know their backgrounds. I do feel like what you were saying, Ant, was really pertinent, that if they're not kind of into the gene keys, like why would this have a lot of meaning for them? I don't feel, Fred, that there was a leak in I don't remember how you exactly worded it, but leak in the system. I think we made it very clear that commitment was necessary for all of the steps. I think all of that was very, very clear. I just feel their personal circumstances make it hard for them to kind of bring that commitment or whatever is sort of going on in their personal lives. So I don't feel that there's a leak, and I don't have any doubt that we can do a delta with 7 men either, like you were saying. And as I said before, like I'm just so I'm swimming in this particular position 1 in all of the events of this week, that I can't see clearly like what my choice would be about, yeah, whether to continue or not continue. But you helped me be a bit clearer on that. Like I like what you said. I can do without one particular table leg, but 2 might be too much. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to share. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all your input. Thank you for being my first Delta. I really, really do appreciate this group, even if we are kind of missing people.
What to say? I'm really committed to a mains Delta in whatever form it takes. I'm totally committed to that, and yeah, 5, 6, 7, whoever it is, reforming, I'm up for that. I don't yet want to give up on Gerald. I wonder, I would like to agree a plan for communication there and see if he's up for that. So just in case, I could certainly continue with 6. That seems to be if I'm hearing people, that seems to be an okay plan. And then as I reflect on the start of the Delta and your question, Fred, I do think we could have been clearer on agreements and what we were committing to somehow. I don't know how, and talk through the scenarios and situations and that. And as someone that had done the Delta before, I am taking some responsibility for that, for sort of just thinking that through, and maybe I could have voiced that a bit more. So I'm going to reflect on that in terms of, was I, from a transparency and honesty position that I've been in this week, what was I committed at the start and honestly sharing what I thought the challenges were and what could half-hearted in the start. That's my reflection as I'm hearing you speaking. So that's my 29-3 showing up in my life and my life purpose as well. So half-heartedness and a desire to get away from pain, which has been a theme for this week, really. So from my position, I've been in position 4, transparency of the heart, which, as I was saying to Tom in the week, was like quite a laugh, because if you've been there or you're going there, Richard introduces it and saying it's going to be a great week, isn't it? Transparency of the heart, you're going to have fun. It's at the causal plane. And then you listen to the gene key and it's like, not many people go towards all the layers of trauma and pain that are in the body. It takes courage to do that. And I suddenly just broke down listening to that, going, yeah, I'm in that. I'm in that. I'm feeling every bit of fucking pain in my body and getting caught in that, and not allowing a sort of joyous playfulness with that, which is the invitation. The invitation to see each bit of pain and emotion as an envelope of love to be unwrapped, he calls it. I think I swore at Richard when I heard that in some way, because it wasn't my experience. But I want it to be, and I'm angry that I want it to be. So I've been there this week. As I feel that, I do feel like I've let the group down. Actually, I've been struggling in the shadow this week. I've had a number of therapy sessions where I've been into it and touched it, but I've allowed myself to be in the victim state a lot this week. And 59 is paired with 55, which he encourages us to listen to as well here. And 55 is in my SQ, and that's the line 3. So again, that's all like the classic 2 big old victim states at the core of my being, actually. So I've allowed them to sort of take me into some dark places this week, and I would say I felt depressed most of the week. And I've got some real challenges going on in the outer world and my clients and stuff. So that's giving me lots of messages that I'm not showing up wholeheartedly in my work as well. And suddenly there's a lot of fear suddenly hit. So I feel like I've been in mental fear as well, and I haven't had an ability to breathe into, you know, my playful nature, and I've sort of really lost touch with that. Really lost touch with that, and I feel sad about that. And I would feel a deep sadness of this group if this was the last time we meet, because I have realized how lonely I am actually in terms of people to share my experiences with and my pain I'm with, particularly men. So I'm an incredibly loving wife, but I just feels too much to share all of my shit on with her. So it's like I'm really developing a fondness for this group and you guys in this, and yeah, I don't want it to go. Yeah, I feel sad saying that. So that's about as vulnerable as I get in my transparency of the heart from this place. Yeah, thanks, Phil. So I can't work out whether I'm in a good place or a bad place, because it feels like I'm really depressed and my life's falling apart in some way. But I also feel that there's so many lessons here and so much love that I can touch into, and learning to be held in this space and to hold myself in this space. I know that's, yeah, I know that's the calling, and I am doing that work, and it's fucking hard. I'm finding it really hard to be present with the pain, bit by bit, breath by breath, rather than run away. So maybe it's a good thing that my work is falling off a cliff now. Won't be very busy.
Brent, it looks like you've frozen. I don't know if you can still hear us, but
Oh, there he
back.
comes. He's back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I back?
You've fallen off the cliff as you froze.
There we go. The magic of Zoom energy. Hey, careful what you say. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like I need a lot of support right now, and having this group is really important for me. So, I will leave it there. Thank you.
I'm getting a higher vision here, and I'll share it. And a couple of takeaways. I was envisioning this plane, you know, one propeller has stopped, and the tail wing has stopped, and it's going to crash. Then you threw in a shitstorm tornado. And I had that vision, and you, Brenton, just added, you know, throwing all my shit onto my partner, and that one just stuck. And my solutionist is coming up with that we maintain this integrity of this container. We put out to find a couple of other members, those of us that are in the Gene Keys communities or in the Venus, can put out a call, maintain this, find a couple of people, and then restart all together, because I would like to keep this connection with all of you, as well as to not crash. So if we can do a mid-air rescue somehow, maybe it needs to crash, I don't know. But that's sort of the piece I got out of this.
Yeah, I'm a yes to that. I am curious about Gerald and whether if Gerald, if something has happened today that is completely outside of his control, and my story is running, that's not true. But if it is a genuine something happened and he couldn't make it and he wants to rejoin, would we continue as a 6? I just want to put that out as an option. And my mind is running different stories, but I just wonder whether that's also still on the cards, or are we saying no, that's it? Sorry, that wasn't very clear. Fred. Speak, you're always clear on these things.
Gerald has missed another week too, right?
He missed the
Yes.
first week, yeah.
Yeah. And no one missed the second week? All 7 of us were here the second week?
No, we've never been all 7.
That's what I thought.
Because Wolfie missed.
The second.
Will
We
we
were
miss
all
second?
we were all at the pre-call, weren't we? We all did the pre-call.
Yes.
We all did that one. I remember. Okay, but the 3 official weeks of the Delta week. Yeah, this is the third. So this is the
okay.
third official week of the Delta, although it's our 4th session. Because
Right. Right. Okay, that makes sense.
what's your thinking, Fred?
If I have a man who would gladly join us, but in order to do that, he's amazing. He's amazing, and I would love to work with Sam in Gene Keys. He's a rookie to Gene Keys, but he's not a rookie. He's not a rookie to. He has the book and stuff. He's been dancing around, and he's a brilliant super soul. But what we'd have to do if we were to have him was we'd have to change the time, because he's actually the leader of this men's meeting that I'm talking about from 9 to 10. So he can't be here. He would have loved to have been in this group, but I told him, it will interfere with the other group that we're talking about. He's called the Zen Warrior, and this is the Zen Warrior group he has from 9 to 10. We would have to change the time, and Sam would bounce in for sure if we did that. But I just throwing that out. It's not, we don't need to have Sam, but I'm saying that would be one way to get a 6th man.
Well, we had originally adjusted the time to accommodate Wolfie.
Really?
So yes, so I'm open to adjusting the time or the day. So
And I think I'd like to sort of just to hear where Gerald's at, but if he can't turn up to another meeting.
All right. Who's Gerald's dance partner next week? Probably me.
Wait a sec, because I was just finishing something there.
Sorry.
But if he really is still part of the Delta, then we can kind of carry on with 6. But it, like, if there's this sort of oh yeah, I'll try to turn up, and he doesn't again, then we need 2 extra men. And I'm really happy to sort of put out a call, like there's a kinetic transponders, like a what's it called, something network that's got a lot of Gene Keys people in, and I'm happy to sort of put out a call there, but I don't want to put that call out straight away if you've already got 1 man, Fred, and if we're not sure about Gerald yet. Yeah, that was just my thought.
Gerald is in position 1 next week.
yeah,
So
I'd say we need 2 people.
I'll say it too as well, because as I was late, I was responsible to text Tom saying I'm running late, so that way it informs you guys. For him to not to make any form of communication is irresponsible. I take that as him taking a step down in a way, being irresponsible, not committing. So I think finding 2 would be the best bet for it, because any which way he has everybody's number. I contacted him, he could have let me know. So I think finding 2 would be the better bet.
So my suggestion is we move into the positions for this week, and in the meantime we also put out a call for if you could contact your Zen Warrior guy, and I put out a call for another. I can contact people directly as well, but just get sort of 2 other people, and then we can start again next week if we get 2 other people for next week, and arrange a time that's suitable for your man, Fred.
I'd really like us to talk, one of us, I don't know who, I'm happy to do that, to actually check in with Gerald. I'm still holding the possibility that he might he might have had a life disaster. Yeah, he hasn't. You know that there's. I'm with you, Ant, as well. There's another story going. Yeah, he hasn't been the most responsive. Missed the first one, and yet he might well be somewhere not in a great state, full of remorse, lost his phone. That might be the case, but I think if I was chatting to him, I'd want to call him on that and say, "Come on, this is it. We need your full commitment or not. And full commitment looks like this and this and this." Yeah.
And I will, I'm debating whether to say this or not. Hold on. I have gotten scholarships or partial scholarships to things in the past. And both Wolfie and Gerald got full scholarships. So from a financial commitment to step up to do this, even though it's not a lot, they never even put in the financial commitment. And I think that is sort of the reflectively we're seeing, you know, their commitment to the whole thing. They haven't come out of pocket for this. And I think that's a piece of it, which is why I'm thinking, you know, yes, that's why I said maintain this container for now, but look for the pieces to make the 7 and make it restart. But also hear from him if he wants to be one of those 7. But at this point, I would say, you know, the plain seat is empty. So
Do we want to
we'll-
check in with where Gerald is before we make a decision to reform, or are we making a decision to reform now?
I'm thinking we've made the decision to reform. And if he wants to continue with this and talk to us or present as to why he would like to continue what happened, and that's acceptable to all of us, then he can have the seat again. Does that make sense to everyone?
Sort of, but if he is like, yeah, I'm committed, I want to be in, are we reforming anyway, or would we continue with the 6?
I would say we're going to reform because it's kind of, the propeller's gone and the wheel's gone. You know, for us, I think, to successfully fly, it's going to take 7 people who are committed.
Well, there's one caveat here. So as we've been talking about, as Brenton brings up really importantly, if Gerald is in a life disaster, or he literally lost his phone or something like this, and simply has has an alibi, has something happen, then we do have 6 and he can take position 1 and we could roll, and I can even move Sam in or not. Sam is going to be really flexible. He's going to be really flexible, but I think that we walk as if we're looking for 2. I know I was the 7th guy into this group. And I know on that last day, before I was accepted, Tom, there was someone else who sort of had priority ahead of me. Had they chosen to do whatever it was it needed to do, they would have come in and I would not have. So it's okay to have like 3 candidates for 2 spots or 2 candidates for 1 spot. But I think we need to still hold our arms out for the possibility that Gerald is in a tough spot.
I agree. Is that consensus with everybody? Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
But how we
Yeah,
do
that's what I
attunement
said.
if Gerald's not here, though?
What was that at?
How do you do attunement if Gerald's not here, if he's taking
Oh.
position 1?
Good question.
Like, do we just put it on pause where we're just in this purgatory right now until we reconvene with him So that way we could all just attune and just like, not really skip this week, but we're just in limbo. We're neither nor until we figure out what Gerald is. Because he is in position 1, he's the grounding force, so.
Good point.
And here's what I hear. That's brilliant, Aaron, first of all. And I wonder if you would be I wonder if the group would agree that you can substitute attunement today and hold that for this space that we still are a group, and maybe let you do that since you brought that up. It is truly brilliant and compassionate. And let's just have you substitute and hold the space. And if Gerald comes back today, then Gerald's in position 1, and that's the way it goes.
Or maybe since I'm been in position 1, I stay doing
You could
the
do it.
attunement and yeah.
Can you handle position 1 for another week? And can everybody stay with their head?
I don't know if I want more vanity, but yeah,
Well,
I'm okay with that.
I'm not sure we're asking for anyone to step into position 1, are we, for the week? I think we're just saying for this attunement. Is that right, Fred? Is that what you're saying? And then we're finding
Right.
out sharpish whether Gerald's up for this or not. And if he's not,
Right.
then
If Gerald's got 24 hours, Gerald's got till tomorrow at this morning. And if Gerald, we don't hear from Gerald in 24 hours, he's out of here.
I would, that makes sense to me, yeah. So just practically, who is the best position to get hold of Gerald?
Who's the
Anyone?
dance partner? Who's the dance partner?
He doesn't have
He's
one.
really-
Oh, he's
he-
one. He's one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was Ant last week, so Ant's been the most
I
recent.
would say let's make 2 of us, because I have a personal connection to him.
Yeah.
But that might be a bad thing,
Okay.
Maybe a neutral person.
Yeah, I did send him a message, a text and through Messenger, what's going on, respond back. So I did already start to reach out. I will try to would reach out again and make a phone call later this afternoon to see what's going on. And
Alright.
relay what our message is. So yes, I'll take that responsibility to make an honest effort to get a hold of him.
Thank you, Ant. That's great.
And we can agree unless it's something, if it's some BS excuse, that's not acceptable. But if it was something where he absolutely couldn't, he's in the hospital, lost his phone, or some dire that we can talk about him continuing. Is that agreeable?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
I
will
agree with that.
I will mention it's if it's a time issue, do we have any issues about pushing it back maybe an hour? I don't know. I forget where his time zone is at.
He's ahead of us, so this is
Philly,
not that
right?
early. He's in Pennsylvania, I believe. Fred, you're the earliest. So if you can go earlier to allow for both of your meetings.
Earlier for a new meeting time, you mean?
Yeah,
It's not perfect, but I it's only because my workout is that time, but let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's cross that bridge of a change time when we get to it.
What I will do too, when I get a hold of him, I'm putting high hopes. If and when I get a hold of him, see what's going on, lay down on what realign about commitment issues and making contact, communication. And I would relay it back on our Delta group on Messenger. So just keep that
Well-
on alert so that way you could all talk via Messenger if there is an issue with Gerald.
Thank you.
I could say that I can do a one-on-one Zoom with him and record it. So talk to him, and then if he wants to continue, we'll do a recording.
with him. Okay, that sounds a good plan. So if he does continue on, Tom would continue on with it. And then if there's issues, I would relay to the group on Messenger.
All right.
Good.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
And you just want to close this out this week, Bill?
Sure. Before I do, does anyone have anything else that's burning in them or that wants to be spoken about all of this?
So Phil, am I holding for Gerald's space, the temporary hold?
I'm happy to do that because since I'm already here and I've already got the ability to share screen, so I can do the attunement if you're happy with that.
I hold that space for you. If you need extra help, I'll be there for you and connecting with you as well.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
So just to be clear, like we're holding this delta in place kind of for 24 hours until we hear from Gerald, and if he has no good excuse for not turning up, we're looking for 2 extra men to come in and we restart next week. But otherwise, like this week is just going ahead as we would have done normally.
We would, if Sam was one of them, then we might want to change the time too, but that sounds right to me.
Right. Okay. And maybe that would be a good thing to just do when we do hear from Gerald, is just to sort of stick in like maybe throw it all to me if you'd like, Tom, or to Tom, but suitable times for each of us that we can meet each week. Yeah.
You would need a half hour earlier, Fred?
Or later, wasn't it, Fred?
I could do a half hour earlier, although Sam, that's not really fair to Sam. It would have to probably be an hour earlier. So, because he has to run that meeting, so it would be at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern.
So I'm on Pacific time as well, right? Yeah, so 7, yeah.
Would it work to go later for you, Fred?
Yeah, it would definitely work to go later, and that would be at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, that works for me as well, because I take this whole day off as my self day.
Well, let's keep that conversation going. It's 29 after now, so let's attune and let's rock on.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Give me 1 second.
Before we close, I'll remind you of the choreography of the dance, of the positions each of you will be moving to next. The person in position 1 moves to position 2, who will now be partnered with the person in position 7. 2 moves to position 6 and is partnered with 4. 3 moves to 5, partnered with 3. 4 moves to 7, partnered with 2. 5 moves to 4, partnered with 6. 6 moves to position 3, partnered with 5. And the person in position 7 moves to position 1. Now feeling the deeply resonant field of your delta, of the position you've been holding this past week, standing firmly in the highest frequencies you've been embodying, taking in the sharing, the collective wisdom, honoring each other and yourselves for the magnitude of what's been shifting and moving within your team, the awareness that has been made conscious in the collective field to the benefit of all. Fully present and aware of the flow, of the graceful choreography of the dance. Now together imagine taking a step forward in the dance of the delta, gracefully flowing into your next position. Taking a moment to notice the shift within the whole of the delta, within yourself. Then silently take a moment to connect with your new dance partner, holding the person in position 1 with gentle, tender love and absolute commitment to serve the highest good of all, the highest good of the Delta, in honor of the emerging consciousness. Gently notice the subtle shift, the movement of the dance within the collective field as you each settle more firmly into this new position, this new constellation. Open yourselves to flying high and far in perfect unison and harmony, remembering that each disturbance, each dissonance will be perfectly balanced somewhere else in the collective field. Thank you. As this
Okay, my friends, go well this week, and we'll see you again soon. Enjoy your
Yeah,
new positions.
And I can I make a request that whatever happens, can we get together next week? Whether it's the 5 of us or not, even if it's a closeout, I think that would be superbly valuable. So could I make that request that whatever happens, we do get together, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 20 of us, who cares? But I'd value that for whatever, or whatever happens in the next 24 hours. So.
Yeah.
I'd be up for that.
Absolutely.